How's it going, everybody? Welcome to episode 12. I'm Dan. We got Nate and Andy on the channel. You should know all of our names by now if you've carried on this far. We're going to talk about a few things today, like we always do. You know, we've got some MMORPG stuff and some other things. Welcome back to the channel. If you've been here before, if you haven't been here before, welcome.
Yeah, thanks for joining all, and we're going to talk about MMOs, the massive agenda, some little history, some flops, some ones that survived, and we're going to do a few top 10 countdowns here, which would be fun. I don't think we've done that before. We've kind of touched on it, but we want to make an official one. So we're talking about like that MMOs, but not only that, and also retro cartridges. Specifically NES and on, some before that are just, well, we're going to list the 10 most, or not 10, but the most expensive game for each console. So that should be fun. See if you guys can guess for each system before we say that. And some of you are experts, probably already know. And yep, and we're going to go over some also top 10 XMen games because, good timing of the new movie coming out next year. So we're going to go into that. So, yeah. So let's get started here.
I need to rewatch all those X-Men movies. It's been a long time.
Yeah. I mean, they've been around for a long time, actually.
Yeah.
To be honest, I've never been a fan of them, though, because I was a diehard X-Men comic reader when I was younger.
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman did a good job playing Wolverine, but he was just too tall. Wolverine was like 5'3" and very stocky, and but he's just too dang tall to be Wolverine.
Yeah,
and just
how tall is Hugh Jackman? I thought he was short.
6'2". No, he's like 6'1", 6'2". Wolverine's like 5'3". He's really short. That's why they call him Wolverine, because he's supposed to be fearless, like the animal or whatnot.
Gotcha.
And some of the storylines just didn't match the comics. Like in the first movie, it was him and Rogue, Wolverine and Rogue were buddies. The comics, it was him and Jubilee. It wasn't Rogue. So just little things like that. I just couldn't really get into the X-Men movies. Just kind of, I don't know, just didn't care for them too much, even though they became really popular.
Right. I mean, if you're a hardcore comic fan and, going strictly by that, I can see that. Entertainment value, yeah, pretty good. What's cool about it is it introduces the younger generations to X-Men and what we used to, read in the stores and collect and all that. When there was comic stores, I mean, there still is, but...
Right. Who was the actor that played the young Professor X when he was younger?
I forgot his name.
Was it First Class?
Yeah. James McAvoy?
Yeah, that guy.
Yep.
That was the last X-Men, just the very first of that series. That was the last one I watched. It was so long ago.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say like 20 years.
But been around longer than you think.
I know. So. I had to recap. I'm like, are they that old now? Shoot.
Right. So let's get into this. We're going to start with MUDs. All right. If you guys, I don't know how old you guys are that are watching or whatnot. We here three lived through that era and
digital D&D.
Right. I always called them multi-user domains. And actually that is part of the acronym, but it's also known as massively multiplayer. MUD is
multi-user dungeon
domain and also dimension.
Oh, is it dimension
and dungeon?
Okay,
so all of those, it's MUD.
Depends on who you talk to, I guess.
Right, which is weird. So
I have a question. Would Oregon Trail be a MUD?
No.
It has to be more than one person connected together, like an internet connection, or
like a LAN can play together.
Yeah.
Oregon Trail is just you and the computer and dying of dysentery. So
yeah, pretty much. But it was exciting back then in elementary school. Like, oh, this is so cool.
Computer
class. All the green text and ASCII stuff, and it's good times.
So I guess the question would be, would Doom count as a MUD, or are we just talking about RPGs in general?
No, not even, because I mean, there's MMORPG and then there's MMO, right?
Of course.
We're talking about both.
But I meant MUD in general, like back in the day, was it strictly just kind of like role playing?
Back then? Yeah, I think I think that's it. It was mainly that, unless there's something I'm missing, but all of them were
It makes sense.
fantasy stuff.
Right.
So going into that, perfect segue, this next one here, MUD that I remember, have fond memories of, is Legend of the Red Dragon, or Lord. And that was by Seth Abel right there.
Could multiple people play at the same time? Or was it... Go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, the Legend of the Red Dragon, it was more of a BBS door game.
Mm-hmm.
However, I consider it a MUD just because when you were on the BBS playing, there was different nodes that people can log in. I think most good BBSs back then had like 4, maybe.
Right.
So
that
4 at a time could play. And one of you would be, one of them would be waiting in the training grounds or wherever that was that you fought people. And if you lost, you can actually, if you can, or unalived, they would take your loot. So you can lose all your stuff. And that was one of the ones where it's like, dang, because when it happened to me, yeah. And so in that game, I would always stay at an inn, with Violet, with the famous Violet in that video game. You can flirt with her and get stuff. It's funny. But if you got a room, you were safer. However, you weren't immune because people that were higher levels and stuff like that, they can, bribe the innkeeper and break into your room and still unalive you and take all your stuff.
It's crazy.
Yeah, because if you slept outside or you didn't have money for an inn, you would have to sleep in the main grounds or whatever, and then somebody could take over. So, but very fun game. It looked just like this, like the ASCII block style. I used to do art like this back in the day. There was an old group back in the day in in the 90s called Acid, and they used to make really cool pictures like this. So it's just a feeling and something you'll never see again, It's really cool. So that's the first one. Second one is, I'm a little less familiar with this one because it was released in 1984, is Eridath. This was an early text-based multi-user dungeon or domain, however you want to say it, a MUD. I have no experience with it. I don't know if anybody watching has ever played it. This is I was 4 years old when this came out. So I didn't have a computer yet, obviously, so it's a little early. The one I did play next that I'm going to talk about is Dragon Realms. That's a good one. I played that in college. I went to New Mexico State University, obviously, and it was on the server called the Rio Grande Freenet. So it was like a free server. All the students can log in and play this thing. And that was truly MUD because there was a bunch of people on at once. And that was cool. You meet in the town square and all that. So this was more text based, right? All these. Now, from then it moved on to, because Dragon Realms came out in 96. So that I graduated in 98. So games like that and all that came after that 97. But after this game is when it kind of moved on from text to graphic based MUDs, which was a whole thing that was like, whoa, kids these days, like, our kids and all that, they grew up with how it is now, so they can't appreciate it. But this was the first time the graphics were on a MUD. We're like, whoa, there's multiple people playing and I can see everything and not have to imagine everything like reading a book. So that was really cool. And one of the first ones that came out from text to the first graphic games was Meridian 59. And which I'm not actually familiar with this either, but the one I am familiar with, that came out around the same time, or 97, was Ultima Online. I think everybody knows that one or has heard of it at least.
That came out. That was like one of the first ones, actually.
Yeah,
MMOs.
Yeah, the first,
other than Diablo,
right? The first graphic MMOs, right? Graphic based or graphical. And then shortly after that, in 99. The big Titan, EverQuest, that was huge. With this game, what I remember is the ambient sounds, like the soundscapes. Every village you went to and section of the game, like forests and stuff, they had their own music. So, this thing was like, trailblazing. I was like, whoa, this is really cool. Yeah, I liked it. I mean, it was a little stiff. Obviously, it was one of the older ones, but man, the music and the races and classes you can pick from. I mean, it was D&D on the screen for me, and with playing with other people for the first time. So it's really cool.
Did you ever play Meridian 59? That was like one of the first true MMORPGs.
Yeah, like I said before, I have no experience with that. Have you guys played it at all? Yeah.
No.
My first MMORPG was Asheron's Call. I don't know if you have an image for that, Andy, but that was 1999 through like 2004 for me. And then in between that, I tried EverQuest, and I couldn't get into EverQuest. I didn't like it.
Well,
I don't know. Maybe because I was kind of biased to Asheron's Call or whatever. I had a lot of friends on there, and I had like 3
What did you not
accounts.
like about it? Just the way it was structured?
It was
graphics,
stiff.
What? Yeah.
It was stiff. Like Nate said, when you're walking up a hill, the camera didn't move. You had to move the mouse a certain way to get it to kind of flow right. Just, I don't know. It was just different. So yeah.
I'll tell you what I loved about EverQuest was that you were able to team up and create those mobs like 100 people at a time, and you can travel together and have a better chance, because EverQuest was hard. You remember, it's like easy to die and all that. So we would team up, and just like it looked like a swarm, dude. And we would do everything together, and we had like dedicated farming camps to build up. It was really cool.
Yeah, it was same in Asheron's Call. It was like that. You had like if you were in a like a clan, if you will,
right?
You would have a clan leader, and then everybody below him like shoots him XP. But whoever's like your patron or whatever, they would get XP from you, and they would put people under you, so you'd get XP from them, and you all help each other level up, and it made questing a lot easier too, especially for like the harder monsters and stuff.
That's cool. So, yeah, I mean, that's one that skipped me, obviously. Like Meridian 59, never played it, right? But that was before EverQuest and Ultima Online, which are regarded as like the first 3D MMORPGs.
My buddy John had this. He had like all the expansion packs for it and everything too. Because I think there were like 4 or 5 that came out, every 6 months or a year or something like that.
Right. So we're getting into that, and then shortly after, I kind of categorized this as like the dial-up internet struggles, right? Because we didn't. I mean, some people had cable,
Barely, but it was very like minimal back then. Yeah. Cable.
And Andy, I'm sure you had a normal modem back in the day. I started with 2400 baud rate to 14.4, and then 56.6 and on. But
28 for me was my first one. My brother had a 9600 like in the 89.
Crazy. And T1 existed back then, because one of my friend's dad, he worked he had a secret job, couldn't talk about it. He worked at like the Los Alamos, and he had a T1 in the house. That was crazy. So it was like a thing on the wall.
Official drink of the podcast. Sponsor us.
Yeah, don't show it unless they're paying you, bro.
I know. Just kidding.
Believe it or not, because 90s, and we used T1 back then.
Heck yeah.
The military used T1. Yeah.
There you go. So that's why he was a special dude over there. Couldn't even talk about what he did. So
they had T3 back then as well.
Yeah. Well, this guy had a T1, but I didn't know about T3 or 2 or even more than that. But the dial-up internet struggle part is, used to call your friends to play, and your mom would pick up the phone or something and just totally the game. Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Get off.
Yeah.
And then you would hear through the thing like, hello?
Yeah. It's like, there was so many times when we were in the middle of a quest or whatever, and somebody would pick up the phone, and then you log back in, and you're back at your like stone where your character would appear if you died.
Yeah.
And you have to like get a hold of all your people, like, hey, my sister picked up the phone, and they're like, I know, we're at your body, dude. Hurry up so you can get your stuff, because you only had so long to get your body before you're
like guarding your body. That's so funny. So
during this age, the worst thing they came up with was the cellular phone back then. Because my sister, Nate's wife, she would want the phone. So she would do is she get the cordless phone, run in the bathroom, lock the door, and disrupt it. I need the phone, Andy. I need the phone. Blah, 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 blah. Like disrupt everything, just so she can get the phone to call whoever. Yeah,
jeez,
that's crazy.
Yeah,
my sister eventually got her own line because it was always a struggle to play online and have a teenage girl in the house. So
yeah, and they could talk, boy. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, my sister was on the phone all the time.
Right.
So it was a big thing in the 90s.
It was.
Well, actually, it's still a big thing.
It was.
Especially those 1-900 numbers.
Oh my gosh.
It was and it is and it always will be probably. Yes. So I want to talk about some big hitters here, Diablos, right? Diablo 1 and 2. I mean, everybody's heard of this. It's still going. Dan, me, Rich just beat 4, what was it, like 2 years ago now?
It was the first week it came out. We just played the crap out of it.
Yeah, and we got the upgraded version. It was like $100.
I want to play it
for
again.
The digital.
Now that they're on like season 5 or 10 or whatever.
And Andy, that is a fun fact. We do have the digital version of that game.
Nice.
It never came out physically. Oh, it did on PS5.
I thought it did. It's PC stream or whatever, or a Steam. And that was great. I mean, Diablo is a heavy hitter because it was like Gauntlet back in the day, but way better because it was like an RPG and more in depth, and you get to play with other people that are not even there with you. So that was a huge deal.
I want to put it out there that if Blizzard, hint, hint, ever puts Diablo 4 out on the Switch 2, I would buy it. Like all the way on the card, not key card. So I'm going to put that out in the universe. I may get it for PS5, but I don't know. You probably still have to download most of the game because it's huge.
Yeah.
So
as popular as this game is, I'm surprised they didn't make a movie because they made a movie of the next game you're going to talk.
Yeah. Hollywood would love to make this one. I'll tell you that. That's right in their wheelhouse.
So Nate, Diablo 3, was that your favorite one?
3,
or was that the one you just have the most memories of?
No, it's actually 3 because
same.
Yeah, and 4 is very similar to it, as you know, but
3 was just solid.
It was perfect. Like 2, clunky. 1, I mean, come on.
I never played 1.
1 is it was very, like you said, clunky.
I tried to play 2 with Rich for a little while, and it was
boring, kind of.
Yeah, dude. It's like, I don't know. It's
all the hater,
like you said, it's clunky.
All the hardcore Diablo people are gonna be like, man, those guys, dude.
Well, yeah, it was one of the greatest games to come out in the 90s, early 2000s.
But guys, we're honest here, so
right.
All right,
this is just our opinion.
This is our opinion. Doesn't mean it's gospel, right? So don't get your panties in a twist or whatever. It's all good. So. Next thing here, gotta mention the other big D, right? Doom. So
Doom, dude.
Doom was amazing.
That's the new Doom.
Yeah, and
that's okay though.
Honorable mention, not an MMO or this type or online players, was Wolfenstein 3D. So with that and others like Heretic and all that, made by ID, right? Great developer back then.
And it's still going.
Yeah. And the thing I remember about Doom is people were making patches. This is the beginning of the internet where you can download these things and put them in your, in your directory where the executable file was. And you put these patches. I forgot the exact name of the file extensions back then or whatever, but I had one where like it turned all the enemies into Barney, the dinosaur. And one where
I remember that.
Yeah, and where all the demons were like Beavis and Butthead, and they were just walking around like
My favorite one was
awesome.
the mod that made one of the weapons a Game Boy.
Yeah, that's cool. It was all sorts of mods, man. And then when that came into play, the possibilities were endless. It was like, holy. And
it's a new game every time.
This is gaming right here. It was totally new. I mean, we grew up on the NES.
I got a slight side quest. I looked up just now the weirdest thing that Doom was ported on. And the top one on here is a McDonald's cash register via a security bypass. an electric toothbrush featuring a tiny built-in screen, a Mercedes-Benz dashboard with a screen on it,
That's
and then
insane, dude.
a smart LED, a smart light bulb, and a kitchen appliance keypad.
Wow.
I was like, so people will put Doom on anything if it'll
Right.
work.
That is cool.
I think the hardest thing that they've never been able to put it on is the Neo Geo, because of the way that the sprites and the chips work. But they've got it halfway working. I was reading an article about it the other day. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's that was a big like intellectual boom, tech boom there too, because of the indie guy. Just
Two dudes.
programming. Yep. Just so Doom, awesome, of course, and then Doom 2 and all the rest, and the movie, and it's still going.
It's just amazing to me, like, what makes somebody think, like, I wonder if I can put this on my smartwatch, or like, a cash register at McDonald's.
Right.
Crazy. The cool thing is too about the movie, they had Carl Urban, who's on the Mortal Kombat 2 movie, just came out.
Yeah.
And The Rock.
That's right.
That is crazy. Those two were in that movie.
Yeah, and the movie it's all right. You know what I mean? Because us,
I never
the
saw that
gamers,
one.
we were like, it's kind of cool. But one of the early, movie adaptations of a favorite game that people played and all that. So that was fun. And then after that, evolved into Quake, which was great. I have fond memories of Quake 3, actually.
Same.
But yeah, Quake, I played Quake 2, but Quake 3 was when I was a teenager. I was getting real into these types of games, and, I ruled with what was called the railgun. So with the railgun, you can shoot anybody from like miles away, and they were like a little pixel on the screen. And if you got your mouse just right over that square, boom, it would get them. It was almost like a cheater weapon after a while. So Dan looks like he's digging something out of his collection there. What do you got for us?
I thought I still had my Quake shareware disc, but I guess I don't anymore. I used to have... When it first came out, there was a shareware disc, and it had the full version of Doom 2, Quake,
I remember
Hex
that.
and Heretic.
Yeah.
And then there was somebody online, if you were fortunate enough to have like AOL or something, you could get the patch that would let you unlock the game on the shareware disc.
That's cool.
It's pirating, of course, but
right.
I remember getting that. I had owned Doom 1 and Doom 2 retail, like the big box version.
Mm-hmm.
And I only played the Quake demo, but then a buddy of mine showed me that hack, and I was like, you mean I can have the whole game right now for like just the price of the shareware disc? Because I think the shareware disc was like $4 or something.
What was your favorite weapon on that? I was just telling Andy when you left the railgun, because it was almost like cheating.
Yeah. I was going to say the railgun. I think everybody liked the railgun too.
Yeah, they were like a pixel, like far away on the screen. You can still get them like a headshot. It's crazy.
I actually have the remake of that on the PS5.
Right.
It's still pixelated, but it's high res.
Yeah, I mean, I still have one of those mail-in, like get AOL for free and the 3.5 floppy disk, right? So that was when. And then, of course, the first Nintendo Power came that way, too. I should have kept that thing in perfect condition, but I read the heck out of it, man. I took that thing everywhere.
It's
there you go.
PC software disc. They don't make these no more.
That's cool.
But it's got Doom 1, 2, and 3, Final Doom, and then Doom 3 on it.
That's cool. And I remember that graphic.
I thought the shareware disc was included in that, but it wasn't. So.
Well, so we want to move on to some Blizzard hard hitters, right? So...
Oh, here we go.
Warcraft.
This is childhood.
This
right
is
here.
before World of Warcraft, right? This is a World of Warcraft right here picture, but there was Warcraft and then Warcraft 2, which was like StarCraft. And
Warcraft 3 was good, but it wasn't as popular as Part 2, in my opinion.
Yeah. And then I was actually a part 1 guy, where the your peasant sounded like Forrest Gump. They're like, okay,
Zug zug.
yeah, and you would tell them to do stuff. They're like, okay, right, stuff. It was really cool
For
man.
the horde.
Yeah, and that was definitely it was the orcs and the humans. So
DOS, baby.
yeah, disk operating system, baby. But yeah, I mean, good memories with that. And with these games, you can build up. This was more strategy type and armies against armies. So you really had to think on these. I think more than the MMOs, in my opinions, like the normal 3D like fantasy ones, because you got people coming at you, whether it was the AI or players online. And fun fact, I was a beta tester for StarCraft 1 back in late 90s, early 2000s. Yeah, because my college had a deal with Blizzard, and then I knew somebody up there, still good friends, that worked on the game, and I got free copies of the game. Buggy as all heck, I'll tell you that. But
Yeah.
I found out really quick what those guys went through to perfect the game, and it's amazing. It's a lot of work. Hats off to all the developers and everybody involved.
My first apartment, we used to run Warcraft 2 and StarCraft. We had like 3 or 4 PCs, and we would just run LANs.
LAN party.
Yeah. And my parents, my old house, Justin and John lived with me, and we ran Ethernet cable like under the carpet to all the bedrooms.
That's cool.
We used to play StarCraft or Warcraft 2. I think maybe StarCraft in its early infant stages as well, but those were good times.
Oh yeah.
And then Half-Life, of course, but we're not talking about Half-Life right now. But.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of games, guys. We can go through each one or whatever, but we got to leave some meat for the potatoes in another episode, right?
Right.
So the next one here segment is kind of like the golden era of all this stuff, right? Which is what Andy has up here is World of Warcraft, or some people call it WoW. Basically, it's streamlined accessibility. It's skyrocketed the genre into like mainstream pop culture. I mean, this thing was huge.
This is what made me quit Asheron's Call.
Right. People that don't even know about video games know about WoW or World of Warcraft, and how
it's kind of like Final Fantasy VII was. If you didn't play RPG games, Final Fantasy VII was one of those games that turned you on to RPGs. Like everybody played it, and Skyrim too is another one.
Right. Early 2000s when I moved here from Texas after college, rooming with some guys. I'm telling you, these guys got so addicted to this. I was playing Final Fantasy Tactics when they were all into WoW. I was playing it on the little Game Boy Advance, the first one, right?
Were they like the South Park episode where they didn't get up to go to the bathroom and
pretty
stayed up for like 3 days and just barely did anything else?
That's a real thing, dude. That's a real thing.
Or the episode on Big Bang Theory where Penny gets addicted to online gaming and she doesn't shower and she has like a Cheeto in her hair. She's like, oh, cool. Whatever. Right. It's crazy.
Well, Andy's got a story about that too. So
He does.
Yeah. Because especially one specific time, I deployed for Inherent Resolve back in 2014. And I had service members in my unit to where they literally played WoW for like 10 years to where they're bragging and boasting about whatever character they had, paladin, orc, whatever, they need to level it up or this, that, and the other. Is just crazy. And then there multiple times too, because I think when you're deployed, soldiers, when they're working, they're doing their mission. And then after that, a lot of downtime, whether they go work out in the gym or they sit in their room or their tent and they play games.
Right.
And even in garrison, when they weren't deployed, there were many times when I was a first line team chief, we have a 4-day weekend, dismiss the soldiers. Hey, be safe. What's your plan for this weekend? Blah, blah, blah. They tell you what they're going to do. And multiple times soldiers would say, yeah, Sornus is, we're going to have a gaming party. We're going to have a WoW party and this, that, and the other. I'm like, all right, have fun, be safe. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then I'll go, that's Friday.
Nerds.
I'll go Monday afternoon, make sure they got their haircuts, the uniform's good to go, ready for work call for Tuesday. They're still in the uniform from Friday. They got boxes of pizza or whatever they're eating or munching, right next to them. And believe it or not, I'm being serious here. A couple times they had a bucket. I'll leave it at that.
Gross, dude.
They had a bucket. Yeah. So
the South Park thing was real.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm serious. That stuff happens, especially
go sleep in a
I've seen
cave
that
or something.
firsthand.
Jeez,
And I ask him, what it compels you to where you need to sit here in the same clothes and drawers and everything from Friday to Monday, having a bucket to take care of your business, boxes of pizza and Mountain Dew or whatever energy drinks to play this game. And majority of the time, specifically, this one soldier said, I had to level up my paladin sword.
Wow.
Eyes all bloodshot red. Man, it's just crazy. But yeah, it's very addictive.
Hope that paladin was worth it, Private.
There's going to be a couple of people that watch the video going, that was me.
That was me. That's funny.
Was me.
But
I was in communications, so we had a lot of, I guess, nerds, geeks, whatever you want to call them, in communications. The smart ones, technically savvy, able to run a network, whether it be digital or radio or what have you. Yeah.
Right. Well, and it's like escaping reality too, kind of like just going into another world for a while. And speaking of, people actually got married on WoW.
Yeah.
They got married on the game. So anyway, my buddy that I roomed with, that's all he did 24/7. His whole life was WoW for like probably 2 years. And then, I don't know, we all moved apart and I don't know what happened, but pretty crazy. And
my friend Jeremy met his real life wife in WoW, and then they met up in person. Then they got married, and then they had their computers in the same room, and they played WoW for years. They're not together anymore, but
surprising.
We'll just leave it at that. But she was a little nutty.
Yeah.
But I remember waiting in line at Best Buy midnight till 8, 9 in the morning till they opened for I got like the super collector's edition that had like the art book, and you got like extra pets and stuff for having that.
That's right. Yep.
Then Burning Crusade came out, and I did the same thing. I waited in line for that expansion, and then after that, I was like, I don't know. I played it for like an hour, and I never played WoW again.
Yeah.
I don't know what. I wanted the Night Elf so bad, and then I made my character, played it for a little bit, and then I logged out, and I the next day I like canceled my subscription.
That's funny.
It was just bizarre. Like, I still don't understand why I did that to this day. I went immediately to Lord of the Rings Online after that, but
another one that was crazy, but
it was good. I liked that a lot better, actually.
Yeah. But speaking of, in the same category, we were kind of deprived of a big one from Japan. There was Final Fantasy 11.
Oh yeah.
That was online.
We got it later.
We got it later, yes. Right now, everybody's playing 14, right? So, which I haven't even played at all, really.
Isn't 11 still going a little bit?
Yeah, it is going, still going. But Japan had it first. So, and then after that, there was the Gold Rush era. Basically, what it means is every publisher tried to clone the formula of WoW and all these, leading to financial bust.
So they're like, we just have to do it like this.
Yeah, some of them led to financial bust because some of them didn't make it, or they got pulled. Warhammer is considered a clone of WoW.
People still play that too, though.
Yep. And Henry Cavill is going to do the movie. They're still talking.
Are they making a movie about that?
They are, and
that's
Henry
cool.
Cavill's going to do that.
Nice.
They're pushing the books right now, like on Amazon and online.
Yep.
Like Horus's Heresy, like that right now is being sold like hotcakes online right now. Like people are grabbing those books.
And in the tabletop world, this is a huge game. You go to all these places that they still play D&D and stuff. You see big old parcels of land, worlds for Warhammer. So
people paint like figurines for that too.
Yeah, you paint figurines, and it's similar to D&D. But it's more like World of Warcraft works, like army against army type.
That's cool.
So really cool. And then Runes of Magic as well was another
I've
Honorable
never even heard
mention.
of that one. I've played a
Yeah.
lot of MMOs.
This is another clone, right? Where
Final
they
Fantasy 11 came out on PS2, did it not? Didn't it introduce the hard drive for that game?
I'm not sure, actually.
I think that's what introduced the hard drive for the PS2.
Yeah, you're probably right. I never played it, like I said. And that missed me. That one totally missed me, especially because, it came out in Japan first and all that. So some of the ones that were shut down and some that survived to this day, like we mentioned, a couple that surviving still, like StarCraft, Warcraft still on there, Warhammer, Final Fantasy 14, 11, all those
Do
are
people
still going.
play StarCraft online?
Yep. Yeah,
two,
I can
two,
log in right
or
now and play
the first one or the second one?
the first and the second.
Wow,
Yeah, there's still people.
that's
playing.
crazy. I want to
Yeah.
play Warcraft 2 now if that's still available. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Probably
Yeah,
get
yeah.
my butt handed to me, but
Yeah, I have the Blizzard Online thing. You just go on there and the servers are still active, dude. It's crazy.
right on.
But like I said, I put in so many hours of my life into that. I'm just like, I'm good. You know what I mean? But it'd be good to hop on. I taught my son Ricky and all that, StarCraft, Warcraft back in the day. So introduced them to that and they really loved it. So those are some that survived. Now we're going to talk about the ones that didn't quite make it. So The Fallen, Star Wars Galaxies, for sure.
I tried that for like 2 days.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. It was kind of like, it had that EverQuest vibe. Like it just was kind of clunky to me. People
Right.
loved that game though.
Well, it started out a certain way from my understanding, and then they did an update, which
They
was
nerfed it.
called a new game experience
Right.
type of thing. They try to revamp it, and for some reason with that update, it just like corrupted everything, or people didn't like it, so it was shut down. City of Heroes was another one.
Which is back, by the way. It's community driven now.
Yeah, well, there
But it
was
was
a
down
licensing
for a little
and-
while.
There was a licensing publisher dispute, some decisions that made that happen. So it was more of the head honchos that did it for some reason. They pulled the plug. And WildStar was another one.
I never heard of
and-
WildStar.
Me neither. That's it right there. And
It's got a
it looks-
Peggy on it. Was it European only or was it everywhere?
No, it was here.
Okay.
It was here in the US as well. And it was more of a niche type,
It looks
appeal. It wasn't like the normal, World of Warcraft stuff, right? It was different.
like it. My first
And-
impression gives me like Ratchet and Clank vibes, actually.
Yeah, that's
Right.
what I was thinking
Me too.
Yeah.
And the story behind this one is it was just sustainability. They couldn't keep it up because of server costs and things like that.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And then Tabula Rasa, which me and Andy were like, that looks like that girl from Resident Evil,
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
the actress.
I remember when that came out, but I never played it.
Me neither. This is another one. So guys, if any of you watching this, let us know about this game. I have no clue. Richard Garriott's Tabula Rasa. I don't know who that is. Like, I don't know how it looks or anything. And apologies, I didn't even do my homework on this one. So obviously it was a PC game and around this area, but one of the ones that didn't survive. So the Star Wars Galaxies we talked about, City of Heroes, WildStar, Tabula Rasa. Now, the survivors, again, we talked about it. It was Final Fantasy 14, which was
And
the
11.
Realm Reborn. Yep.
I've always wanted to try this, actually.
Yeah, it's a great game. It's fun. Ricky actually showed it to me. I think he's still playing it. But this went through like a total structural overhaul, apparently. And
Isn't it like $15 a month, too?
yeah, there's a sub option, I think, on there. I don't know how much it is now because those prices probably change all the time. And then there's an old school RuneScape, and that was what was that? It says player driven voting and classic nostalgia preservation. So basically, it had
running
like
a browser.
Yeah, and it was like a nostalgic vibe, and I guess players would just kind of tell the people what they wanted, and they made it happen. if they could. So
they have a newer version of RuneScape that you can play on Steam that's like updated graphics, but this one is just like the old school early 2000s pixelated graphics, and it's still going strong today because you can play it on your phone, you can play it on your tablet, your PC, because it's a browser game. So big
play
community
it anywhere
for that.
On the throne when you're in the morning sitting on the throne and everything.
Doing your morning constitution.
That's right.
I gotta
EVE
level my
Online.
paladin.
EVE Online was the other one.
Rodney plays this one, my buddy Rod. He says it's
Yeah.
pretty good. It's like a sci-fi space MMO.
Definitely from that picture,
Right.
you can tell. Again, I don't know this one. Never played it. Never seen it. So any fans, let us know if you recommend this or not. So so you're right. The Final Fantasy 14 was definitely, it's subscription based, and it's still going strong.
Two of my favorites that I had the pleasure of playing that weren't really on this list was Maple Story. It's a 2D like anime-ish kind of.
Right.
And that one originally was like $10 a month when I started playing it. I think I had like 2 accounts for that.
Yeah.
And
we were
then-
actually going to mention Maple Story, but that's
Oh.
your segment and you jumped the gun. So
Sorry, my
it's
bad.
coming up. It's coming up. So Dan, take it away with segment 2. We're going to talk about top 10 MMOs of all time.
All right. Well, top 10, Star Wars: The Old Republic is the first one on the list. I've never actually played this. I've only known of like Galaxies, honestly. I didn't even know this existed until we started researching for this yesterday. So,
They let the audience know that these top 10, everybody has different search engines. All
True.
right. So these are based off of different AI search engines. So you may look these up and you get totally different games. Just let us know what search engine you used and what top 10 that you found. Because this is based off of what we used.
We got so
and what
many
we found.
results.
Yeah,
this
exactly.
was one search. Yeah. So
Yes.
thanks for that disclaimer,
Yeah.
Andy.
Yeah.
Let us know, guys. Do you agree with this list or what? Let us know in the comments.
And that's for all the lists that we're covering today, okay? So when we say top 10, these are based off of we just use one specific search engine, and this is what it gave us, okay?
Right.
Don't throw tomatoes at us.
Did you know about this game, Nate or Andy? I know
Old
Andy didn't
Republic?
really play
No.
a lot of PC games or whatever, but I mean, did you ever see it in a magazine or something? Like,
The last Star Wars game I played was Vader VR. That was cool. But
really?
yeah, but MMO type, never played a Star Wars game this style.
Well, yeah, like I said, I never even knew this. I only knew of Galaxies. So,
Right. Mhm.
The next game on the list is City of Heroes, which you touched on previously, and yeah, it got shut down for a little while due to licensing and whatnot, but it's back now, and it's got a real strong fan base and community driven. I still think it's a subscription based though. I think you still have to pay for it. So
I know they added like customizing your characters and stuff to kind of make it modern, so people like that.
Didn't they make a villain version too? I thought they made a villain version as well.
Maybe.
I think so. I'm looking it up right now. I think the villain one is an expansion pack.
I remember
if I'm not
seeing the
mistaken.
villain version a lot, but I figured it was based off a hero version. So hey, let's go villain.
Yep.
So, City of Heroes is completely free to play, no subscription fees.
There you go.
Nice.
Cool.
The City of Villains is a standalone expansion pack counterpart to the superhero MMORPG. So
nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember seeing the box art for that too when it was available retail.
Yeah.
But I don't think that one was as, hyped up as this one, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So, next on the list, we have Guild Wars 2. I played the first Guild Wars, and it was a beautiful, beautiful game. And it was one of the first MMORPGs that was free. And I believe Guild Wars 2 is free as well, and it's even more pretty. and I think people are still playing that today as well, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't have a lot of information on that. The next game on the list is Phantasy Star Online, which was on Xbox and Dreamcast, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And
this was one of my favorites, actually.
Right. Was it on PC too, or was it just console based?
And I don't know. I got to tell, like I told you guys, the only version I played was on Xbox 360.
I had it for the Dreamcast after they shut the servers down. So I never got a chance to play it, but I've heard good things about it. And then the next game, of course, I touched on prematurely, MapleStory. I actually didn't know this game existed until a buddy I worked with during the time I was playing WoW. I wish they would come out with like a Mario MMO or like a 2D, cartoonish kind of MMORPG. And my buddy TJ was like, dude, there is one. It's called MapleStory. And he had an account, so he let me borrow his account for it, and I was hooked. And he's like, just keep my account, dude. Just pay the monthly fee on it or whatever. So that was actually a really fun game. And then they kind of nerfed it later, like they did with the Star Wars Galaxies, like the player experience thing.
Yeah.
But now you can download it again. It's called MapleStory Classic. So kind of like what they did with WoW. They have World of Warcraft Classic too. So
nice.
Stop changing games we like, guys. Seriously, like.
Yeah.
So
if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Don't fix it. Yep.
The next one on the list is Ultima Online, of course, and there was a few different versions, if I'm not mistaken. I had a buddy, Joe Lang, that loved this game. He had like 5 accounts for it, and he used to sell them on eBay when they were like max level and make a ton of money off those accounts.
Yeah.
But I never had the pleasure of playing that. It was a big PvP MMO, so player versus player. So.
Yeah. Well, when I look up Ultima Online, it says there was only one official Ultima Online game. Okay. But a planned sequel was Ultima Online 2, but it was canceled in 2001. Crazy.
Probably because World of Warcraft was coming out a couple of years later, and they're like,
can't compete.
Yeah. Right. EverQuest is the next one on the list. We talked a lot about this earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, what wasn't to like about it, except for, the vast majority of people probably liked it.
Yeah.
It wasn't for everyone, though.
It was just hard unless you teamed up with people.
Right.
That was my thing.
Old school RuneScape, still going today. I think I might even just like boot this up and try it just to see what it's all about, because you can still play it, and you can play it on a browser and a tablet and all that stuff. So,
yeah. Well, description on this one's like community driven growth and classic appeal. So, kind of has the old school feel still.
Yeah,
obviously.
It gives me like OpenGL, when Quake kind of graphics, Quake 2. So,
right.
I might check that out. Final Fantasy 14 is the next one. You said Ricky plays this still, or played it a lot, and I would like to try it because I'm a huge Final Fantasy guy, but just I don't know. I just can't fathom paying $15 a month for a game, when I have like other responsibilities.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, so
and a game like this is going to take up your time.
Yeah,
I mean, you can be in there all day.
I've thought about downloading Lord of the Rings because my character's still there. A few years ago, I had downloaded Lord of the Rings online and logged in just to see if my stuff was still there, and all my stats and everything, even my house was still there. And then I was thinking about it. There's no way, having a wife and kids, will I have time to devote to any time to this game. So
unless you had lottery winnings and just retired or something. Well, we're getting to the number one here.
Of course, World of Warcraft is at the top of the list. World of Warcraft, when I first played that, captivated me with like the atmospheric music that was in it, and the fluidity of controlling it with the mouse and being able to move the camera around and stuff. And it was hard as hell to level up in that game without people but
Right.
it wasn't impossible, and that's
Mhm.
what I liked about it. Like, because back then when I was playing it late at night, and there
Right.
wasn't as many people on, so I enjoyed playing it single player like 85% of the time. It just took me a lot longer to level up my characters than, the soldiers on the weekend with the pizza boxes. So
Yep. But World of Warcraft, the undisputed cultural titan that defined the game. The undisputed cultural titan that defined the genre. So,
The
number
sad thing
one.
is too that they came out with a movie, but the movie didn't do very well.
Yeah. I never even watched it, dude.
are you talking
Yeah.
about the CGI movie? Warcraft? I like that movie. I think it's actually over on the shelf over there. Thought
Never
it was
seen
pretty
it.
good.
They were supposed to do like a trilogy because it ended with a cliffhanger. Remember, where old girl stabbed the king in the neck because he sacrificed himself so he
Yeah.
could save his soldiers. Yeah,
Should get
Yeah.
together with some hot fries and popcorn. Turn that
Right.
on.
it's not
Watch
bad.
it.
It has the guy from Vikings. He's in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was a cool show.
Yeah, it wasn't like a, A-list movie in any way, shape, or form, but I thought it was good. Like, I didn't dislike it. I've watched it a couple of times, so.
It's not bad.
But I like, B flicks. Some of the B flicks are better than A flicks, honestly. So, in my opinion. I mean,
No, that's.
I wish
we did
I
have
had-
plenty
had-
of information. We're just
Yeah.
not going to show like all the gameplay for each one because
Right.
that would take forever.
Yes, it would. And like I said before, these are top 10 based on the search engine we used. If you have something else, hey, put in a comment and let us know. All right, because we're going to move in now into the most expensive games for every major console. Once again, we use one search engine to find these prices for each of these consoles. If you got something different, hey, post it in the comments. All right. All right. So the first one we have is Stadium Events for the NES. Okay.
Of course.
I have
Depending on
a
the
bootleg
condition,
of that.
it could range between $10,000 and $40,000 plus dollars.
Jeez.
That's insane.
And these are games that you could buy at the store, when they first came out. That's what we're basing, because there's other games out there that are obviously for the NES that are worth more, like the World Championship carts and stuff like that. But these are games that your mom could buy you at the store, when they came out first, and then now they're valuable. So,
Or like the graded first run Mario that just sold for like $3 million.
right,
That's crazy.
exactly.
That is insane.
And this game was it became Athletic World later because of like a bug in the stadium events. It was recalled, I guess, or something. So that's why it's so rare.
Yep.
And you have to use that mat. Has the
The
mat
power
you
pad.
run on,
The
or
power
you put your-
pad,
use
yep.
Yep.
You pound the pad to make yourself run
Yeah,
faster.
people
or
would
whatever.
cheat with their hands. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's why I just did that.
that's crazy. All right, that's for the NES. Hey, if you have another suggestion or you have another game that you want to mention, just put it in the comments below. All right, for the next one is going to be for the Super NES, Earthbound. All right, or Super Mario RPG, but we're just going to go with Earthbound. All right,
Chrono Trigger. That's
Yeah.
another one.
and then
What was the
Yeah.
prices that they came up with for those?
between these three games I'm going to show right here, Earthbound, Super Mario RPG, and
Hagane?
Hagen. Yeah, the Final
Hagane.
Conflict, $800 to $3,000 plus.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's a big range. It just kind of depends.
Yeah,
Whether it's like CIB or
Yeah.
Or just
Sealed,
the
factory
cart.
sealed,
Yeah.
or graded.
now for this
Arrow.
one, Dan, you had mentioned this one, but I didn't get the price for it. So
Arrow Fighters, yeah.
yeah.
That's actually supposedly now one of the top $1,800 for the cart. And
Just the cart. That's
just
crazy.
the cart, yeah, and like $3,600 complete. What's really sad is when I worked at Bookman's in like 2005, we had this game for like $15.
I love that game too.
I've
This one
seen
was
that
fun.
game so many times working there back then, and never even because I like shoot 'em ups, and I
Never
never
thought
even
about picking it up, huh?
No, I got it later for like the Neo Geo, but yeah,
It's the one that got away.
and
Yes.
now it's like, and it's funny. A couple of years ago, this game was only like $500 or $600, and now it's like it's become a holy grail. So that's what also shot the price up. to 1,800, and then of course you get the people with like the sealed copies that want to get them graded that just like skyrocket the price. So
yeah, it's kind of like anything though, right? Like stuff from our childhood we never thought about keeping, and all of a sudden, like
hindsight.
What the heck? Yeah.
Yes.
Makes you want
All
to go
those
back in
He-Man
time and
toys.
just purchase it like this store somewhere. So it's like, yeah.
I have regrets.
Yes.
Right.
All right. For the Nintendo 64, it's Clay Fighter.
Yeah.
It's
The sculptor's cut.
Yep, 1,000 to 4,000 plus. Blockbuster exclusive.
Never
Crazy.
played this one, but I played the normal Clay Fighter.
Yeah. Same. Apparently you could buy it at the Blockbuster copies, and a lot of times the Blockbuster copies had that sticker that went over the front of the label that says, like it had like Blockbuster on it, warranty or void if removed or whatever it said. But there were some copies and some Blockbusters that didn't put that sticker over that.
And then, those are worth even more.
Yeah, those are the ones that are the big bucks. And then, of course, the Blockbusters that had the boxes that were pristine that, customers didn't trample on or whatever. So I think that's what makes this one so valuable, is if you can get your hands on one of those pristine copies, of course.
I actually played the Clay Fighter with my dad in California.
The Super Nintendo one or the 64?
Yeah, the Super NES one.
I remember when that came out, dude. It was so fun.
I was. Ichabod Clay was my boy.
Right.
So for Sega Genesis, it's Crusader Vicente. It's 500 to 1,500 plus.
I've seen the box before at game shops. I've never played it. I'd actually never even really read about it or anything. What makes it rare?
Made by Atlas, the same one that made your Rule Rose.
Right. I see that. Is it an RPG or like what kind of game is it?
I've never played it.
I should probably look
RPG
that up.
on it.
Nice.
It's action RPG.
Any fans of this game? Let us know.
Got you, Dan. Yeah.
Thanks.
We got you, Dan. Panzer Dragoon Saga, $800 to $1,200 plus.
Jeez.
There's actually quite a few Saturn games that are in that range. Because the system had such a short run. So I think
everything's rare.
I think Mega Man 8 is pretty expensive for that. There was a version of Symphony of Night for Saturn as well.
Wow.
Probably $300 or $400 if I'm not mistaken.
Would like to get that Mega Man actually in my collection.
And then one of them, I think Mega Man X4 was on the Saturn as well. So I think that one's pretty pricey.
I had no clue that even Mega Man was on Saturn at all.
8?
Until today. Honestly. Yeah.
Yeah, and your boy Mega Man was on a lot of stuff, dude. I mean, there's some Mega Man
PlayStation
PC.
and Nintendo, but yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of PlayStation, for the first PlayStation, Trombone.
That's a Mega Man spinoff.
Yeah, I see that. He's right there on the top.
Yeah.
It says includes demo of Mega Man Legends 2. That's cool.
Yeah.
So never played this, and it's a Capcom game, so
yeah. Range from $400 to $800 plus dollars.
So on the Saturn, it was Mega Man 8, Mega Man X3, and Mega Man X4.
Wow.
And then a game called Super Adventure Rockman, but I think that was Japan only. So never heard of that.
Yeah, if it's Rockman, that's definitely Japan.
Right.
True.
I remember Tronbon, also from the Bookman's days, but I never got a chance to get it or play it. And even back then, in like the early mid 2000s, it was like $80 to $100. So what did you say it was now?
400 to 800 plus, he said.
Huh.
Yeah,
that's
like
cool.
I said, it's based off the search engine. So
right. No.
Yeah. All right. The next for PlayStation 2, Dan had mentioned this. Quan.
Yeah.
For 1,500 plus.
Used to be Rule of Rose, and then Quan, like they were like neck and neck, and then Quan's kind of like taking the cake on that one because it was
for being expensivo. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know
So
why
what's the
it's
story
not
of this
that great.
game?
I've never played it,
Okay.
but I don't know if it was good or not. Like
looks like a horror game.
But I mean, Rule of Rose wasn't very good according to the masses either. But I actually like that game, so I don't know.
That would be a good one to try.
Well, you
Right.
said Rule of Rose is popular because of the controversy behind it, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, for GameCube, Gotcha Force.
Never heard of
That's
that one.
500 to 700 plus.
That must be rare. I've never seen that.
Yeah, no.
And for GameCube
me
too, that's
either.
crazy.
It almost looks like Mega Man without his helmet.
Yeah. Well, it's Capcom, so
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that might be a cool game. Anybody knows this one? Let us know.
I just looked up Quan, and it says Quan was not well received upon its release. Survivor horror game for PS2 received mixed to negative reviews from critics,
Survivor horror.
holding a 57 of 100 score on Metacritic. It was also a commercial failure, which
Ouch.
ultimately led to its extreme rarity and high value. So,
Interesting.
yeah,
So another controversial game, hence the price. And then finally for Game Boy Advance, Ninja 5.0.
That's crazy.
$400 to $1,000 plus.
I never ever even heard of that game until you brought it up the other day when we were going over all this stuff. I'm like, what the heck is Ninja 5.0? Like,
Yeah.
is it like ninja police officers or what? Like,
Yeah. Is that like another like Japan's version of like Hawaii 5.0 or what?
maybe it's like Ninja Gaiden,
That's what I was going to say. It looks like Ryu from Ninja Gaiden.
right?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Looks like our boy Ryu. But
Good stuff.
yeah.
So
that
ends the top
that was
10.
the countdown.
Like I said,
Yeah.
So like I said, put in the comments if you have a different list than what we provided for high valued price games for each system. Put in the comments.
Retail.
I would love to hear.
show.
Yeah.
So, well, this last segment here, we're going to talk about the top 10 X-Men video games of all time because of the MCU news that came out with the new X-Men coming out next month or next year. So that should be, and I know anybody watching this channel or most people have played at least one X-Men game, and all three of us here as well have played at least one X-Men game. So
But before we jump in the games, let's show the reason why we're going to highlight these games real quick. Because what was just listed just a couple days ago at D23, the actual cast of the upcoming X-Men movie. All right. There is some controversial aspects of the cast. Obviously, you can recognize
when
some
isn't
of them.
there?
Yeah, right. And so we'll go just basically based off a deadline here. We'll go each one.
What's the controversy?
We'll get to it. So the first one, Sadie Sink, obviously she was big time in Stranger Things.
Yeah, she was
If you saw the new Spider-Man movie, that right there is also a little controversial about the character she's playing, Jean Grey. And this kind of goes back to, like I said, I was in my youth, diehard X-Men comic book reader, and that's not what Jean Grey's hierarchy is, or her backstory, what they showed here in the movie. I understand adaptation. Got it. I just think that Hollywood's not really good at adapting comics or IPs into movies. They're not very good at it. Like they were literally given the answers to test, and they've failed miserably. I can list the name so many IPs: Witcher, Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings. Except for the first three movies were really awesome.
First two seasons of Witcher was good, actually.
Yeah.
The series Bridgerton, they totally botched
And
that.
Bridgerton, oh man,
Yeah,
my wife loves that one.
It's so bad. It doesn't follow the books at all.
You know, they're just
Like
really
in
bad
certain
adaptation.
parts, but
they're
yeah.
horrible. So, have you guys seen the new Spider-Man movie?
I have not.
My kids
Yeah,
have
not-
like 2 or 3 times now.
Right, mine too.
Yeah, Ricky's seen it like what 3 times now?
I saw it twice on opening day, I think.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I thought she
He's
did a
a
really good
huge
job,
Spider-Man fan.
He is.
acting of what she was given for the script for Spider-Man. The
Mhm.
Spider-Man movie for Jean Grey. It's just not really quite at the timeline's not quite aligning though, because in the comics, Jean Grey is much older than Spider-Man, not younger like they portrayed her in the movie just came out. So, yeah,
Makes sense.
but we'll see how it goes.
But they were saying that I don't know where the timelines, because MCU is like all over the place, but
Yeah, they are.
it's supposed to be the young version of her because she's not using all her powers yet, supposedly in the X-Men. She's just using like her psych abilities. and not
Yeah.
really like all the fire stuff yet.
Well, that's when she becomes the Phoenix later. That's later.
Right.
Maybe
But
this is
like I
just an
said, this
alternate
is like
reality.
when she just had like her discovered her powers like at the very beginning or the inception of them. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know how
So
that works out. Timeline.
Sadie Sink, I mean, it's obvious she can act. She was in Stranger Things.
Yeah, she was Max in Stranger Things.
So that's Jean Grey. A lot of people don't have issue with her playing a role. Just the controversy for her is just I don't want to give too much away because Nate hasn't seen the movie. Just her character, the acts that she committed in the movie, they're just not. I guess not
you can
what
do
Jean
spoiler
Grey is.
alert. That's fine. It's already
No,
out.
I'm not going to spoil it. I want you to see it and so you can formulate your own opinion. Okay. No. All right. So for Cyclops, Kit Connor, I have no idea who this dude is or
Me either.
familiar with who he
Either.
is or what he's done or whatever.
I'm too old.
He doesn't
to know
even
this
look
guy.
familiar.
Yeah. So,
My wife
it's like-
might know. She's very pop culture-y.
but
So
as you know, Scott Summers, Cyclops, he is legitimately the leader of the X-Men, the original X-Men. That's the other thing that kind of bothers me too, because the original X-Men were Jean Grey, Cyclops, Iceman, Beast, and Angel. Those are the 5 original X-Men.
He
But
was
yet
in
we
Ready
have-
Player One.
So it's just like they're bringing out characters that are not part of the original X-Men. Like not all of them. They're like crossing them. Just yeah. Either way.
That's literally the only movie that I recognize that he was in was Ready Player One.
All right, then
easy.
Samara Weaving for Emma Frost. I think this is a good pick in my opinion. You know, she was in the Ready or Not movies. The first one was funny.
Mm-hmm.
Those are funny movies. I think
Mm.
she's a good pick. She actually
She
looks like Emma
the
Frost.
character.
I was
Yeah,
going to say
Yeah,
that.
she does.
You took that right out of my mouth.
And the interesting thing about her acting's in her family. Hugo Weaving is her uncle, and he played Red Skull.
Oh,
He's
Nice.
also Mr. Smith in Matrix. Yeah. He was also in Lord of the Rings. So yeah, Hugo
That's a
Weaving
fun
is her uncle.
factoid.
That's her uncle.
Cool. That's cool.
I have no idea who this dude is. Christopher Abbott for Professor X. I have no idea who
Okay.
this dude is.
We'll see how he
Yeah.
does. Those are big
He's in
shoes to
East
fill.
of Eden, which comes out later on in Netflix. So yeah. So all right. And there's your answer about who played Professor X before, the young Professor X here, James McAvoy. There he
James
is.
McAvoy, yeah.
He was in Christopher Abbott was in Craven,
Okay,
the hunter.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
What
then
part was he in
Wolfman.
Craven?
That
Yeah,
was good.
it wasn't
That
bad.
was good. It was good.
He was a foreigner. That's all
Foreigner.
it says. Foreigner in
Okay.
the movie. So I don't
Word.
think he was the main character.
Yeah. Well, I just remember the character Foreigner in the movie. I haven't seen the movie in a long time. It was a long time ago when I saw the movie though as well. She's a Broadway actress, stage actress. So I don't think she has done anything in cinema. She's mostly been on Broadway.
Interesting.
Maya Boyd.
Yeah.
I mean,
Maya
she's,
Boyd.
Well, she looks
She
cool
played
though.
Aurora Monroe.
Yeah.
Storm.
Heck yeah.
So, yep. There's some controversy about this one as well, but I think we should stay out of politics, so I'm not going to touch the controversy. On
We'll
this
leave
one.
that to other people that want to talk about
Exactly.
controversial stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. That's not what this channel's about.
We're here
so
for
we'll move
fun,
on.
guys.
Yes. This one right here, I thought this was a given because, the popularity Obsession, apparently
She
I
even
haven't
looks
seen the
like
movie,
her a
but
little bit,
apparently
too.
she did a really good job. My understanding, they were eyeballing her to play Rogue for a while after
Nice.
Obsession came out. And interesting enough, this actress, she wanted to play Mystique originally. She
Wow.
wanted to play, yeah, but instead she's playing Rogue now. So
I'm interested in seeing if they do the different colored hair like Rogue has.
She'll have it.
yeah,
if
she'll have it.
I'm interested to see if she'll look even more like the character because right now she has similar, facial.
Yeah.
So
I think that
Yeah,
there's the other
no.
reason why. I mean, apparently she's proven her range as an actress in the movie Obsession. And I guess she was a YouTuber before. Like there's
Wow.
videos of her playing games and whatnot. So
Well, I know when
Um,
she came up with that idea about, or their request of being Mystique, Jennifer Lawrence gave her blessing, apparently.
mhm.
So
And then my favorite pick of all of them, Adam Driver's Mr. Sinister. I'm really interested in see how he plays Mr. Sinister, because Mr. Sinister that dude is like the essence of evil.
As
Right.
long
Mr.
as he
Sinister.
doesn't portray the same character as Star Wars, then
Kylo Ren.
Yeah, I'll be fine with that.
He was a great Kylo Ren, though, I gotta say.
He was. It just got a little whiny towards the end there. But maybe that was like, maybe that's what it was supposed to be. I don't know.
Yeah.
He did do a decent job, but let's not typecast.
Hey, getting a
Right.
decent from Dan is not bad.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
not
he
that
doesn't
picky.
compliment very much. So
Yes, I do.
No, you don't. Yeah.
Whatever.
Hey, so what do you think of the cast? What do you think of, who was selected to portray the X-Men? All right. Good, bad,
Just kidding.
indifferent. Let us know in the comments below.
yeah, and let us know. We'll cover it once it comes out too, and all that. Plus some other. And Andy's really good at doing the movie segments because he's in. He knows a lot about movies as well, actually. So
What does this have to do with video games, guys? I'm just
It
kidding.
all
I'm
comes
just kidding.
together, man. It's
Yeah, I
pop
know.
culture, but
Yeah.
well, X-Men,
Yeah.
video games, movie.
Collectors,
Comics,
I
nerds.
should put my Juggernaut behind me. Oh well.
There you go.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
The
But
first
that's-
X-Men game I ever played was on the Genesis.
Yeah. So we're gonna get into that. So top 10 X-Men games.
The reason why that we showed that led into the games because of what's going on with the movie.
That's right.
Wait, hold on.
So we're gonna start from 10 to the first one to the
Correct.
top, according to the search
The
that we
search
did.
engine.
Right.
Yes.
But I
Some of
gotta
these I
ask-
agree with. Sorry.
Did you care for what was your favorite X-Men movie, Andy? Out of all of them, I know there was a lot of them that weren't well received, but just out of curiosity, what was your favorite X-Men movie, if you have one?
I don't know if it counts an X-Men movie because I did make a comment saying I didn't really care for Hugh Jackman playing Wolverine because of how he looks, but acting wise, he has a good Wolverine.
Right.
For X-Men Origins, Wolverine movie when he was in Japan, that's my favorite one. I think this is Wolverine.
What about
2.
just the original X-Men, the first theatrical one in the 2000s era?
I didn't care for it.
No.
No,
See,
I didn't care for
of
it.
the first three, because it was a trilogy, I believe. The first one was I liked that one decently well, and then I did like the Wolverine Origins, the first one as well.
Yeah. So I gotta vote for that one too, the X-Men Origins Wolverine, because I had that comic where they go into Weapon X, where he started, where they injected him with the adamantium and all that. I have that comic, and when I got that, I thought it was the coolest thing when I was a kid. So when they actually mentioned it in the movie, that's why it's my favorite, because it goes over that, how it started. So
Remember, there's two of them though. There's the one where you're talking about, and there's another one where he goes to Japan and he fights Silver Samurai. Samurai, because there's a part, remember in the very beginning, because Wolverine, he's been through so many, he's old, right? And he saved that guy in World War II. And then he lured him to in Japan, and the whole time he wanted his X factor for healing because he wanted to live forever.
yeah.
And he had the whole Silver Samurai outfit, and so that's my favorite one, is when he's in Japan. Yeah. He actually fights a bunch of ninjas and like that. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
Logan was good too. It was really, especially in the war version.
Logan was good.
Logan.
I liked that movie.
That was a good movie. I like that.
What are
one
you
as well.
looking at, bub?
Yeah. Okay. So moving into the games. So the top 10, we start from 10, work our way down. Remember, we said before multiple times.
Or all the way up to 1, right?
Yeah. Either way. Tomato. All right. All right. Share. All right. So first
Number
one,
10.
number 10. X-Men Sega Genesis,
one I ever played.
1993. All right.
Famous for forcing players to hit the physical console reset button to clear a level.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Crazy. 93. Man, I feel
Our buddy Rich should know this one pretty well, I think.
There was a second one, I think, as well, but
Yeah.
that one was a good one. Spider-Man on the Genesis was pretty good too, but
Yeah.
that's a side quest.
Yes. Well, he's later on down the list with X-Men. So you got number 9, X-Men Mutant Academy 2 for the PS1.
PS1.
In all the years I sold video games back at my old job, I never seen this game.
Mutant Academy number 2.
No, never seen it.
Huh.
I've seen the first one, but I never saw the second one.
Activision.
Huh.
Yeah.
That'll be a cool one to play.
Yes.
It says
Solid
it's
3D fighter.
Yeah, surprisingly solid 3D fighter for its era. So it must be pretty good.
So, like a fighting game or like a beat 'em up?
It's a 3D fighter. It says so.
Okay,
It's
I'd be willing to give that
kind
a
of
shot.
a beat 'em up, but not really.
Let us know in the comments.
Platformer. Yeah.
All right. Number 8. X-Men Children of the Atom, arcade and Saturn.
I played the arcade.
Yeah, I have the marquee for it over on the wall over there. Yeah.
Yeah, I ended up with that too.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's funny.
I have it over here in the garage.
Oh, that's right. It's on.
Remember, it's hiding
on
on.
your. That's right.
It's on my Street Fighter cab.
And apparently, the factoid behind this one is it birthed the Marvel vs. Capcom series.
That's cool.
Interesting.
Little foreshadow.
It's a fun game.
Yes.
I liked it.
Number 7 for the Super Nintendo. All right, X-Men Mutant Apocalypse.
Beat 'em up.
Yeah,
Definitely
definitely played this one.
beat 'em up. Yep,
this was fun.
Yeah,
that was like we should do a whole episode on beat 'em ups. That would be great.
Right. It was kind of hard actually, this game, but
it was
good. Capcom can't go wrong.
Yeah, man, they've been around forever. All right, number 6, Next Dimension for the PS2 and the GameCube.
Crazy.
Never got to play it.
What the heck? I didn't know it came out on GameCube.
Mm-hmm. And it has Patrick Stewart voiceovers.
Nice.
So Professor X. There you go.
This is what deep 3D fighting mechanics.
Was it well received?
So, probably.
I
mean, it's
so,
number 6 on the list.
And Patrick Stewart voiceovers. So
I assume so, sir.
Yep. And then Spider-Man.
Everybody knows this
Here's
one.
your Spider-Man. X-Men and Arcade Revenge.
This was hard.
Yeah.
Good game.
I never got to play that one.
There's your juggernaut, Andy.
Yeah. I see him. And it's on multiple systems, Sega Gear, Super Nintendo, and the Game Boy. The game got around, I guess.
I can tell you the crappiest version of this one.
Game Boy. Be funny if you actually looked it up and it was like, actually, the Game Boy one was the best one.
Yeah, I doubt
there
it.
You go. Or it's like the most rare, right?
Yeah. Well, you know, shout out to Angry Video Game Nerd. He was, because LJN made this, says on the Game Boy one. So that's like a double whammy. I played the SNES though one. I remember it was very difficult, but it was fun.
I wonder if the Game Gear one is more than the Game Boy, because Game Gear games were just clunky in general. Like
I don't know. Sonic on Game Gear was good.
Was it?
It was.
I never
played. First game I played. I had the magnifier thing on it too.
Oh, nice. I never played many Game Gear games that were just like fun for more than like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
The Sonic 2, I liked that on the Game Gear, but it was, it had that motion blur when you moved, so it made it hard to see.
Well, our previous episode, Ricky mentioned Game Gear games. He said they were trash. So
right,
most of them. So the ones I played were pretty good, actually. Well, for me, because it was in color, it looked like a mini television. So to me, it was amazing over the Game Boy. So, but anyway, side quest.
Yeah. Number 4, X-Men Origins Wolverine Uncaged Edition.
Yep.
We just mentioned that movie too.
There's your boy.
Caged.
He looks a little different on the PS3. Like they just didn't bother to Photoshop him right. Because it looks stretched.
No, I played this one online with some friends on my modded Xbox. It was pretty cool.
Apparently, this game far surpassed the movie, giving a true rated R Wolverine combat. So I'm assuming this game that's why it's Uncaged Edition. Must be really gory and violent.
It was
nice.
The new one is very gory. It's crazy.
Yeah.
By the way.
Was this like
come out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Was this like a hack and slash beat 'em up kind of game?
It is kind of questy. Like
That's
you
cool.
go around getting stuff, and you can upgrade and then slash the out of people.
Nice.
So it's fun.
For me, this one right here is my personal favorite. The arcade version back in
Yeah, dude,
'92.
yeah.
That
gets my vote.
Experience.
Love this game.
A lot
So
of
do I.
Nickel Palace adventures on this one for sure, and the mall at like Aladdin's Castle.
Yep. One of the first arcade cabinets with dual screens. And I'm not talking about flat screens, guys. I'm talking about CRTs, which is crazy. So the
27-inch TVs.
thing was massive and heavy.
Yeah.
And there was a 6-player version, 4-player, and we were talking about earlier, 2-player as well version.
Yeah.
So
You know what? The thing is, the characters on this game, though, my least favorite, I don't think this character should have been in this game. They should have picked somebody different. Dazzler. Why did the heck they put Dazzler in this game? Really?
I don't know.
What?
Because Dazzler doesn't get any love ever.
Yeah.
The heck?
Probably.
The rest of the characters, yeah, they make sense.
Yeah.
Dazzler? Who the? Whatever. That's the
What
only
in
part I
the-
didn't like the game is Dazzler.
Yeah.
You saw
I
some
agree.
sparkles at you. Sparkles.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
My fairy dust pouch.
Yes.
Take a
All right.
opponent down with that.
That's number 3. They're probably
Funny.
number 1, but it's probably number 3 because I have Dazzler in the game. So, yeah. All right. And then number 2, X-Men Legends Rise of Apocalypse.
Mm.
PC, Xbox, and PlayStation.
Was it any
2.
good?
Never played this one. Sorry,
Yeah.
audience.
Same.
Never have.
I mean, I remember
Same.
selling it for like $4 at my old job, but we saw it
$4.
all the time, so they must have mass produced it.
Apparently, it was a good game. It was very
Yeah.
liked. I mean, made
Yeah.
it number 2 on this list. So
Yeah. It laid the foundation for Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
there you go.
Even though that did not make this list.
Interesting enough.
Well, this is X-Men games. That's why.
Yep.
All
And
right.
then drum roll
True.
for number 1.
Yep. Number 1, Marvel versus
course.
Capcom DOS.
Yep, number 2.
Yep. Cool thing about this one is got cable. Awesome.
Man, I would like to get this for Dreamcast though. That looks cool.
I like the fact
Bet
cable's
you-
in it. That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah, cable is great.
I like the first one too, though. I mean, the first one was
X-Force.
pretty dang good.
Yeah.
They added a lot more characters in this one.
Yeah.
Me
I would
and John
definitely-
used to play the live out of this game.
I want to get the copy for Dreamcast on this one. I think it'll be nice on there. So
Pricey.
oh, I bet.
I think crossovers work with games, but not with collectibles. You know, they got those crossovers like Master Universe with Turtles or Thundercats and Turtles and G.I. Joe and Transformers. It's like, I just don't agree with those crossovers when it comes to collectibles. But games make sense, but
Yeah.
not collectibles.
So that's pretty much it, guys. So let us know in the comments. Do you agree with these countdowns and the order they were in, or did we forget some honorable mentions? Or just give us some honorable mentions, some games that you like that you think that should have been on there or that we should have mentioned. Let us know. We would love to hear from you. It's going to be more interactive. You know, gives us ideas and everything else. But
We'd like to have some guests too if you're interested. Let us know.
and let us know, you know, what's in your collection. Any of these games that we talked about today, you know, are they one of your favorites in your collection? Or, you know, what are your thoughts on the new movie coming out for X-Men? And, you know, we would love to hear from you. So
Also,
let
provide us
know.
some suggestions of topics you'd like us to cover.
Yeah,
Beat 'em ups.
beat 'em ups.
By the way,
Final
I just
fight.
looked. Marvel versus Capcom 2 is about $120. It's not too bad.
It's not
I thought
too
it was
bad.
going to be more.
Yeah,
Well, for Dreamcast?
Yeah, I think sealed it would probably be up in like $300-$400 range.
Yeah.
But
I just want the game to play it, like
right,
you know, or
Just gotta
maybe
have
put
the
that on
book.
the Pi. You know, that'll be fun.
Dreamcast runs really good on the Pi. Actually,
Yeah, you should put that on Andy's last Starfighter pedestal.
there you go.
And then also, you know, just want to remind everybody, share, like, subscribe. We are slowly growing, just like molasses, but we're getting there. And, you know, we appreciate it. All the feedback and the views and everything. It's kind of cool. And to talk about stuff that you're passionate about and with your brothers and family and friends. So we really appreciate everything.
Also, audio versions on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Deezer, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, pretty much anywhere that you can listen to a podcast, where we have audio versions on there now as well.
Yeah, so when you're
check that out
driving
yep.
or jogging or at the gym, after you listen to your heavy metal or house music, throw us on.
Yeah, we're also on TikTok, Instagram, and X now. So
very cool.
Growing slowly like molasses, like Nate said.
Yeah, we'll put our listings in the description so you can find us anywhere because we're expanding.
All right, guys. Well,
thanks
again. Have a good week, and we'll see you next time.
Later.
See you from the brothers. Bye.
Bye. Yep.
What's up, everybody?
Good job.
Sorry. Wow. I lost my train of thought. What's up, everybody?
Nate is not going to edit this. He's going to let that show.
That's fine. I don't care.
I'll put in a blooper section.
That's okay.